Now, the U.S. president has sent letters to the leaders of 17 major pharmaceutical companies outlining how they should slash U.S. prescription prices for drugs to match those paid overseas. Trump sent the letters to the chief executives of Eli Lilly, Sanofi, Merck, and along with Johnson & Johnson, several others as well. Trump signed a sweeping executive order in May demanding drug makers cut U.S. medicine prices to match those abroad, saying that if companies did not comply, the government could use rulemaking to bring prices down or pursue other measures such as importing cheaper medicines from overseas. Trump gave companies until September 29th to respond with binding commitments to those terms. And CTV's Kamil Karamali joins us now to talk more about this. Kamil, why is the U.S. president going after these companies?
That's right, Roger. Time is ticking for these pharmaceutical companies. 60 days they were given to comply to this letter and these demands by the U.S. president. And you have heard of some of these big pharmaceutical companies. We're talking about Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk, Johnson & Johnson, just to name a few. And the demand is to raise drug prices in other countries and use that additional revenue to lower prices in the U.S. Trump says the drug industry must offer U.S. Medicaid patients the, quote, lowest comparable international price, and even offering help by using trade policy to help drug companies raise prices overseas in European nations and even in Canada. Once again, they have 60 days to do this. What are the consequences for companies who don't follow suit? You touched on it a little bit, but the letters to lower drug prices, worth noting, have no legal authority, but Trump, as you mentioned, threatened to, quote, deploy every tool in our arsenal if companies don't follow through. And Trump has also threatened pharmaceutical tariffs. This was earlier in the year, as high as 200% to try and get more drug manufacturing to take place in the United States. Some data shows that only about 12% of some of this manufacturing takes place in the United States as of now. And as I mentioned off the top, some of these pharmaceutical companies already feeling the pinch in the stock markets this morning. Some of the companies tumbling, Novo Nordisk down 4% and AstraZeneca falling 3%, just to name a couple of them.
Now, a lot of the Americans buy pharmaceuticals from Canada. What kind of an impact is this going to have on us?
Well, obviously, Roger, if pharmaceutical companies do follow suit with what Trump is asking of them, then they would not only raise drug prices in European nations and other developed countries, but also Canada. And so the obvious implication would be that Canadians start getting charged more for drugs by American companies. And as I mentioned, some of the biggest manufacturers are in the United States, Pfizer and AstraZeneca. And Canadians might even start going to the U.S. to purchase drugs if it becomes a more affordable option, Roger. So just a couple of consequences that might take place if this happens.
Okay. CTV's Kamil Karamali. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.